and Tobago Film Festival 2021 Q&As. I'm Samara. Thank you for joining us. This year, our full program will be screened online until the 28th with our new media exhibition available online and in person at Grandison Lab, Belmont today, Saturday 25th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Feel free to comment and ask any questions you have for the filmmakers, and we'll try to answer them during the session. And of course, don't forget you can check out the films at ttfilmfestival.com. We'd also like to thank all our TTFF21 sponsors and partners. NGC is our signature sponsor this year, and we have leading sponsorship from Shell Trinidad and Tobago and the Trinidad Bank Limited. Sorry. All right. So with me today is Ozran Milhacic. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, you did. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. And Anna Alpisa, the producer and the editor representing the short film Blue Hour. Also with me is Gibri Allen, an award-winning filmmaker who was born in Jamaica and currently resides in New York City. Now, Gibri made his debut as a writer and director of the short film Excuse for Jeff, which was screened at festivals domestically and internationally. Today, he represents his feature film Right Near the Beach, which recently won an audience award at the New Orleans Film Festival. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
So, my first question is the theme, saying that both films actually explore a common theme of loss, which I believe everyone can relate to. So, can you tell us a bit about more about yourselves, kind of in relation to how this works came to be?
For Right Near the Beach, this came out of an idea that I wanted to do a film in Jamaica about the subject matter of sexuality. And so it's Right Near the Beach is kind of based on Excuses for Jeff, which is a young man going back to Jamaica for a friend's funeral. And he goes to the friend's funeral, and none of the other close friends showed up for the funeral. So he kind of create these excuses for each of these friends that didn't show up. But the catalyst of that was a conversation that I had with my brother, who's also Jamaican. He's older than I am, and we grew up with like some bad ideas about sexuality, homophobic, ideas and tendencies. And I think coming to the U.S. and New York, that opens you up to different cultures and different ideologies. And just because my brother is older than I am, introducing the idea, I thought I would get some pushback. But he was like, "Bro, you got to do this film." And it was kind of like, to be honest, like kind of like, is he gonna talk me out of this? Because I don't know if this is gonna be my first film, so I don't know if I'm gonna do it. Should I do it? But it kind of it lit a spark, like, and I just went head on and I did that short film, Excuses for Jeff. And after I did it, the reception and the just the also just doing it was so fulfilling that I thought that idea and the story and the subject matter, it was bigger than a short film. And I did a bunch of short films prior to that, and I just knew that was going to be my feature. So everything was kind of working up to taking that idea and spreading it over an hour, and I think 20 minutes is what we came out to.
Nice. Anna or Ezra?
I guess, I mean, I'm going to try to channel Zoe because she wrote the film. There was another producer who's in Cuba who produced the film. I participated to some extent, but Zoe and I are partners. We're girlfriend and boyfriend. So, I've been part of the process to some extent. So really, I'm going to try to say the best what I think she would say here.
Okay.
I mean, the story of the film is, it's two people who meet in the hospital in Havana, Cuba, who are, middle-aged, slightly on the older, and, they both facing loss. The woman, her husband died, and she's there to pick up the body, and the man is there for a prostate exam, and he probably has a prostate cancer. So they kind of, it's a meeting point for two of them, and kind of it's some kind of new beginning that happens in the movie. And I guess Zoe is from Havana, from Cuba, and we really wanted to kind of tell the story about people who are the stories are usually not told about, and it's also takes place in a hospital. It takes place in one of these little dilapidated bars that people are just drink to, and it's kind of you see all these little bars all over Havana, and it's usually like you have these touristy bars where it's all expensive and all that stuff, but then these local bars that are kind of local enjoyed, where you have one type of rum and you just like mostly. I mean, we've seen it's the same in the whole world. I don't know. I guess it's maybe a little
Yeah,
more.
uptown versus downtown kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yes. And so I mean, it's a love story, but it's a lost story and a love story at the same time. And I guess uh, we worked with the non-actors. She wrote, of course, the film herself, and then she wanted to really cast people who are not actors. And she, literally, like the woman who's an actress was, she would talk to people in the street, make castings in the street. Idania, who was amazing in the film, she's a street vendor. She sells eggs and bags on the street. And Rodolfo is also a non-actor. So I guess that's kind of in a nutshell the film. In a nutshell, the film has a lot of subtext, and it's kind of like seeing it from the
Yeah.
from like on the screen, and then knowing the script. Not everything can make it in it, but it's also trying to tell a story about you know uh, kind of desperation, but also hope and resilience and love that people find even in the hardships and difficult circumstances. Because I mean, I don't know how. Maybe Anna can talk a little bit more about Cuba and how it's always falling, but it's always getting up, and something like ongoing. This
Yeah.
end, but it never ends. It always lasts. So it's really like it's
Um,
Well, as a Cuban, I always felt like it was like a super huge connection between these characters and what people in Cuba are feeling right now. This sense of disappointment, the sense that there is no way out. I think these characters are like a very, very good portrait about what Cuban society is like. So for me, that was the best connection that I had with this film.
nice.
and all the locations and everything is real. The actualidades bar, it actually means new or modernity, modern stuff, is kind of one of these old bars that kind of decaying little bit by little.
Oh, wow.
Next to it is like cinema and all these things are kind of like hanging by a thread, but still alive. And the house where they filmed the all real Havana locations, houses with the people and streets and everything. So she really tried to like capture something. It was all documentarist, so this is kind of her first fiction
Right.
type of stuff. So it has this aesthetics and this kind of like intent
Yeah.
to mix it.
Hazran's touched on it, but my next question is, what was the casting process like for you guys? To find these amazing humans to personify these characters that you've created.
From what I know, is like I I guess Zoe would because at the time I was in New York, she was finishing the film in Cuba, and I came to like one part on the end. So we were talking, but she basically walked the streets in Havana with another friend, another producer, and they would look for people who were interested and tell them, "Oh, would you all come for a casting and a photo at some at
Wow.
some location?" So it's really like people from Havana, just meeting them. And then on the end, I think it, and it was really tight up until the end. It was like shooting schedule that she had to find somebody. And on the end, she found Dania, who was like close living, like
Super.
she was street vendor
Yeah.
close on the street. And it's also something that, like the backstory
Wow.
character was, she is somebody who comes from the provinces. She's somebody who comes from outside villages to Havana, and you
Mhm.
always have that outsider personality, and somebody who is from comes from a difficult kind of situation, running away from something, leaving house young as a woman, and then kind of finding a new life in the city. Uh,
Right.
and so like, Tanya had parallels for it in the script, also in her personal life,
Mhm.
something that was also
That's
yeah,
awesome. And
important.
Gibri, I know I saw a lot of Alans at the end there, so I know this is going to be a good story.
A lot of the same as Blue Hour. Yeah, it's again because really none of the characters from the short film kind of blend over into the feature. But I knew from doing that I wanted to use locals as much as possible. But you think of like getting funding or being able to make a film, you want a name attached, so you can kind of help it to not only get eyes on the film but also funding. And
Oh,
so the idea was to cast in the Mr. Jacobs character, to cast years ago, super established and flow them out there. Them being Jamaican as well and being able to speak the Jamaican patois.
mhm.
And my casting director said, "This guy, he's my dad. Why don't you cast him?" My dad is incredibly shy and reserved, and he's a farmer. He's an actual farmer. That's one of his many hats that he wears. And to my surprise, he said, "Sure, I'll try." And yeah, that prompted myself and my director of photography to kind of just go out there and not only use the opportunity to scout locations, but to also follow him around. And we took like a trip to do that. And it I always say it informs the story as well, because like those shots that an actor like getting multiple takes, they'll be able to hit those takes all the time. I know, like, I might be able to get one or two of the similar performances, because and so we knew like camera work, he would shy away from the camera, so we had to find his face. So it informed the way we shot the film as well, the cinematography. And so that was the only, once my dad came in and the cast kind of started filling out itself, and it became almost a community and a family affair. Like you said, there are a lot of Allens there in the credits. And like, for example, the guy that played the pastor, he's the gentleman that would pick us up from the airport and drive us around. But he goes to church and he played the gospel music in the car all the time, and he would just sing. And it was one of those aha moments. Me and my director of photography, Javier de Pablos Velez, we kind of looked at each other at the same time and we were like, pastor? And we same thing, we introduced him. And he's just that big personality and that big energy that he was like, of course, I'm gonna be a star.
That
And
Jamaican bravado, it's
bravado,
always
just
there.
you say something and it's just they're in. And so we filled out most of the cast pretty much locally and with people that we know. And some of them are attached to locations. Like if we need a shop, who's the proprietor of the shop? Like, you're in the shop
Right.
all day. Like, but there are challenges in that, because again, from a performance standpoint, these are maybe shy and maybe reserved people who've never had that experience of not only being on camera for a long time, but playing a role, portraying someone other than
Yeah.
themselves. So it took a lot of patience. And it was a learning experience, but an amazing experience as well to use this film. And it lends an incredibly authenticity to the film, to use these people from this
True.
location who understand
Mhm.
the land and the landscape and the tones and all of these different things that comes with that. And again,
Mhm.
professional actors versus authenticity. And,
Yeah. 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 It translated well as well. Yeah. So Anna, we got some of the challenges on the shooting aspect and casting aspect. Any challenges you may have had as the editor for your film? Yeah, share with
So,
us.
I would love to. I was thinking about this working with non-actor process. So I actually comes
Mm-hmm.
from documentary. So she's super good, like making people open their souls in front of the camera, and I think you can feel that in the final cut, that in the short film, you can feel that they are playing a character, but at the same time they are themselves at some point.
Yes,
So,
yes, I did get that.
yeah, and I was able. I really love the process of editing this, because I was able to work with so much truth. I don't know if you can get what I mean, but basically, yeah, it was good. It was good to edit like real people kind of playing themselves in front of the camera. Yeah,
Yeah, you get a lot more than you can say, okay, well, it's a matter of the technical stuff of finding that shot that just suits that mood, because the performance is so vast.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally feel you.
It was nice.
Just, it's Latin America, Jamaica, Caribbean. Any advice you'll give to upcoming filmmakers? Anything that might be helpful, you think, making these types of works?
Just do it. I have to say, just just do it. It's like like a big thing that I talk about in a lot of interviews and stuff, whether it's this film or other project, is funding. It's really hard to lock down funding, not from a Black creator, not from a West, but all of these different elements, and then you're doing a film in a country that predominantly isn't known for doing films of this style. So it's really, really hard. So if you're going to sit down and wait out for someone to give you funding or whatever, you might, but my suggestion is if acting and filmmaking and all of these different things is your passion, this is doing, and if it's practice, it's failure, but you're always learning through all of these experiences. You're developing your craft. So I just say, just go out there and get a camera and shoot. Not everything you shoot needs to be on YouTube and needs to be out there. Some of them are just like beautiful lessons or hard lessons that you're going to learn from them, and there's so much in the doing. So just do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Good.
No, I think for me the main point is just find a story that is for you, so it's gonna be easy to produce. You can work with different actors. You can film in your house. You can find something that is really you. So just do it. That's it.
Just do it. Great. That is awesome advice, guys.
I want to say the same thing. Just do it. Just do it. One thing, just to put it there, since this is like a Caribbean experience, I guess these two films and a lot of these films, like with all the things that are happening in Haiti, for example, now it's like trying to find cinema from Haiti, and it was like from the dictatorship 57 to 80 something. There's 4 films made. Now it's all you want to learn, you want to see, but it's like that hand is on top of you, and this is really like now we live in time where anybody can do it, and we know always anybody can do it. But really, it's not expensive, and if you have a story, if you want to say something, if you want to tell something, I know it's not easy, but do it for the future, or for like
I feel you.
library. You don't know where it's gonna go. Somebody's gonna watch it sometimes, I guess. Like
for real. That's awesome advice. Thank you guys so much, Azran, Anna, Gibri. It was such a pleasure to chat with all of y'all today. And thank you everyone for joining us for this Q&A. Don't forget, you can still catch all of these great films as they're screening today. So check out our website, ttffilmfestival.com, where you can find all the information on how to buy tickets and check out the films coming up as well. All right. Thanks, guys.
thank you all. Thank you for having us. Thank you for
Right.